Lighting for having invited me for making this presentation. Basically, my presentation will dwell on case study and best practice of how we are moving from CFL to LED. There have been questions raised as to why CFL is still surviving, but I would like to tell you what are the plans, how we are going to bring down the CFL consumption and increase the LED consumption. So I think I don't need to give any introduction to Elcoma. Elcoma is basically an apex body of lighting manufacturers. We have about 80 members, and our turnover at the moment is 12,000 crores, and our membership consists of all large, medium and small manufacturers, and we work towards preparation of standards, technology development, and also international relationship with many organizations. We know it all very well that there is always a gap between power supply and the demand. It is the more we generate, the more demand is being created. The simple reason is because of the development, urban development, highways, and industrial development. Everything needs power, and therefore, the more we are generating, the more demand is being generated, and therefore the gap is continuously, and we have blackouts over long periods in many areas. So, keeping this in mind, in 2005, Elcoma decided that we will work along with the government, Ministry of Power. We thought that let us introduce the CFL. Product was already available at that time, but it was not promoted because the cost was very prohibitive. It was costing nothing less than 400 to 500 rupees of an ordinary 12 to 15 watt CFL at that time. And a normal incandescent lamp was only 10 rupees or 8 rupees at that time. So the gap was really large. So we sat down and we decided that we must do something. The main problem was that there was no demand, and therefore the cost was very high. So we thought, let us create a demand, let's work together, and we must prepare a plan as to how we do it. So around in 2005, we prepared a national program. We had a national seminar in Delhi where we invited all the stakeholders from all the state governments. We invited the secretary level people, we invited the decision makers from CPWDs, PWDs, local bodies, and all these elite people were there in one day presentations where we discussed on energy conservation. We discussed the advantages of introducing the energy saving lighting products, and therefore at the end of the day we prepared a program as to how we are going to do it. So the program consisted that we will change all the points in the government buildings to start with. So all the state governments who were present there, they said yes, we will all agree, and we will go back and we will start doing this work. And the state governments will carry out the promotional programs. They will bring in awareness programs. There was certain demand side management programs were also discussed as to how we can work, how we can use the utilities to organize these programs. And then BE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, played a very important role at that time. Maximum support came from BEE, who supplemented through national media program. They carried out a lot of advertisements, and also the state governments started in local newspapers, TV and radio. It was a massive program at that time, and the BE also started an award scheme for energy efficient buildings. They invited industry, they invited buildings, all big installation, and there are various categories under which they prepared a plan that anybody who submits this program, and if he achieves some energy saving, we will give him award. And the award was given none other than the President of India, Vigyan Bhavan. This was very celebrated occasion, and then everybody took a lot of interest in that. Then school education program was very, very successful. They went to, I do not know, thousands and lakhs of schools in India, and they started teaching the children on how to save energy, how to switch off the light, what is to be done, why not change over to CFL lamps and all that. And they even printed small comic books which were distributed. They distributed various stationeries for children. And when these children went home, they started talking to their parents, and they, really, and all this thing really worked very, very successfully. I'll show you next slide how the CFL business developed in India in a very short span of time. Along with this, we had a problem of cheap CFL coming in India, and then we thought that how to control that. So we prepared a standard, Bureau of Indian Standard. We prepared a very good standard which was compliant to Indian conditions. So this standard we made mandatory. We made it mandatory so that anybody who wants to manufacture in India will have to abide by these standards and get his product tested and then get certificate from Bureau of Indian Standard. This made our industry very successful transformation of, instead of importing, we started manufacturing in India. Because if you produce in India, it becomes very easy for you to get a certification. If you import, a lot of formalities were there. It was very difficult to get Bureau of Indian Standard certification. So the entire energies were put into manufacturing in India, and we again were very successful in giving a very good Indian product, which was very sturdy and which was very economically. Over a period of time, we were able to reduce the price also. The government further reduced the VAT. Most of the state governments contributed in reducing the VAT to less than 4%. Anti-dumping duty was also imposed at that time. The excise duty was reduced to 5%. So all this contributed to bringing down the cost of CFL. And then one of the most important action taken by the governments, state governments, was to make an announcement, mandatory announcement that all the shops and showrooms in India will change from existing incandescent lamp and halogen lamps to CFL lamps in the showrooms. And this also worked, this also generated a lot of demand. So when the demand was generated, the cost started reducing, and can you believe it, within a period of year and a half, from 350 rupees, 500 rupees, it came down to 100 to 150 rupees. And this chart shows how we developed this CFL business. In 2003, you can see it was 30. In 2002 and 2003 were between 20 to 35 million pieces, and when we launched in 2006, 2005, it gone up to 67 million pieces, then 100 million, 140 million, 200. So you can see the growth between 14 to 50% per annum, and this replaced all the sockets of incandescent. Most of the sockets in incandescent lamp in urban area. Urban area contributed a lot. About 60% of urban areas were transformed into CFL points within a period of 2.5 years. But rural area was still lacking. The CFL had not reached because affordability was still a problem. But the government initiated various programs. BEE had a program of Bachat Lamp Yojana. Then there was the government BPL houses distribution program was also started. Then the local government started DSM, demand side management program, under which CFL lamp was given free of cost to households, and then when they save energy, 10 rupees per day per month was collected over a period of maybe next 7 to 10 months. So this all worked very well, and we were quite successful in launching, and the capacity of manufacturing in India had gone up from about originally 15 to 18 milligram to less than 5 milligram. We also made it pellet insertion. We made it amalgam, so that amalgam, even if the lamp breaks, it will not spill, it will not evaporate. It is quite safe to still handle it. But then we thought that LED is the future product, because LED is a product which is not only for domestic use like CFL, but it is a versatile product. It can be used in any application. We talk of street light, you talk of down light, you talk of facade lighting, you talk of anything, anywhere you can use it. Any surface that needs lighting can be used with LED. So we realized that this product is the product which we must promote, and then we sat down with the government and we prepared first of all, we went to the government. We said we want to launch LED, but we have a lot of barriers. So barriers were, first of all, we did not have technology in India. We did not have standards. We did not have testing protocols. So we did not have demand. Awareness was not there. The price was very high. So all these barriers were discussed, and the government appointed interministerial group in which all these things were brainstormed, and we found that there is a solution. We could find a solution, and we looked at CFL as to how we promoted CFL. So we decided, let us initiate the similar things as far as possible and replicate the same. So recommendation and proposal were that government constituted central institutional mechanism which along with other stakeholders shall oversee design, development and implementation of the program and put in place robust monitoring and evaluation process by an independent agency like National Productivity Council, etc. Aggregation of future LED demand by regulatory oversight. No, the government decided that we will give you support in creating demand for LEDs. So they said wherever the government procurement will be, we will see as far as possible, we will change to LED system. But cost was still very prohibitive at that time. So main issue was to bring down the cost, bring down the and have a very good study product. So we immediately we prepared the standards along with the Bureau of Energy, Bureau of Indian Standards. We prepared 12 standards in a very short span of 8 months, which was very much valid and required. Then we initiated of upgrading the existing testing laboratories. So government gave a loan of funding of 25 crores to 3 test laboratories to upgrade to testing. Then we also initiated with the Indian and international test laboratories, and they also, UL was the first private test laboratory to upgrade itself to LED testing. But we still found that it's inadequate. We need more test laboratories, and Mr. Nirupam Sai said in the morning, we need a lot of more test laboratories, we need more R&D centers, but we are working on that, and we will be very successful maybe in another 1 year or so. Then tax and duties. Government immediately took initiative of reducing duties on import duties on LED components, and also they reduced the duty, excise duty they reduced. They have initiated now to reduce the VAT also in many places. So all these things are supported to reduce the prices. Now to give immediate push initially to concentrate on commercial applications. So we also decided that let us try to promote on the commercial use of these LED products. That government also took initiative that we will make sure that all the villages which are being electrified now will be given LED lamps. So with all these actions and following up of the government programs, we were quite successful in launching LED lighting in 2011, 2012, and that time we started. First year we did about 500 crores of business. Next year it was 800, and then last year we did about 1200 crores. Now, government has, of course, as I said, they have given all the support. Now, then we decided that we must concentrate on a focus area. The focus area where we can change in a large quantity of from existing lighting to the LED lighting to save more energy. So first program was the self-blasted lamp, that is or we call it a retrofit lamp. So government used to do a lot of programs to distribute CFL lamps, which are the Bachat Lamp Yojana, then BPL houses, then Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana, then demand side management program. So we discussed again, we did some promotional programs, we went to the state governments, we did awareness programs, we did workshops with them, and then made them aware that whatever scheme that we are going to have now should kindly change it to LED, LED retrofit lamp. Of course, they were all asking questions that the LED lamp is very expensive, but we have been telling them that once you create a demand, the cost will come down. So that is one. Second was down lighters for showrooms and show windows. Like CFL, the state governments had given notification. So now we are approaching the government because we want existing incandescent there, because CFL was again changed to halogen, because government of course had issued a notification of changing to CFL, but they realized that CFL is not the right product for displaying the product displayed in the showrooms and show windows, so they changed to halogen. So now we realized that LED is the only solution for showrooms and show windows. Therefore, the state governments are now going to make an announcement that all the existing halogen or incandescent downlighters will be changed to LED. So the most important segment that we have worked for is those street lights. Now, government appointed Bureau of Energy Efficiency to conduct a survey in the country as to find out what is the state of street lights in India. So the Bureau of Energy Efficiency then prepared a report which very categorically reported that 80% of street light in India is installed haphazardly, which means there was no consideration of distance of between one pole to another. There was no consideration of height of LED, the lighting luminaire on the pole. There was no consideration of thinking of which type of road needs which kind of light. So there was a lot of wastage of energy, and therefore they prepared a plan that if we change all the street lights which is existing in India, which was 27.5 million pieces at that time, will be able to save more than 5,000 megawatts of the power. So government decided that yes, there is an opportunity to change to save energy and also have a product which is more versatile, which will long laster. It does not need much of maintenance. So the Ministry of Urban Development has made an announcement last year that entire country, all the street lights will be changed to LED lights within the next span of next 2 to 3 years. The 27.5 million or 3 crores, around 3 crores. Yesterday it has gone up because there has been growth of about 7 to 8% in street lights. So the 2 years back it was 27.5 million, and today it has grown to 3 crores. All the 3 crores lighting street lights will be changed. So all these things put together are going to save a lot of energy, and we will be very happy to inform you that when we prepare a development plan for our LED business 3 years back, we thought that by 2016 we will be able to do a business of 5,500 crores. But things have changed now because we never expected that government is going to give such an overwhelming support. And with the government support of street light and retrofit lamp distribution, the business scenario has changed. See, this is the segment-wise estimates now we are recreated. Now it is again 5,000 crores in 2016. It is going to be more than 10,000 crores. So it is more than double what we estimated. Now, similarly, when we thought that let us look at the 2020, because we have also prepared a Vision 2020, as Mr. Nirupam Sahai in his opening remarks said, that ELCOMA has prepared a Vision 2020 program in which we not only want to increase the volume of LED usage, but also ultimately we want to reduce from 18% of power consumption in lighting to less than 13%. So to achieve that, we have to pump in more of LEDs and replace all other kind of lighting. This is going to generate a very encouraging business. From 12,000 crores today, we will be able to do more than 37,000 crores by 2020. So that is the kind of business that we are going to do. This is a program which we have changed from 5,500 crores in 2016 to 10,460 in 2016. But 2020 will see about 37,000 crores. So that is the kind of business that we are going to do. These are only the calculations. This is a meter which we keep on upgrading depending on the government demand which is created, and accordingly we work out our program as to how much we are going to increase our business over a period of time. Because industry has to prepare itself to supply that kind of material. So this is the Vision 2020 roadmap of Elcoma, which Mr. Nirupam Sahib, who is our president, mentioned in the morning. This is a very interesting program that we have created, and every member of Elcoma is excited to reach and implement this. There has been overwhelming support from all the members. This program talks of awareness, once again consumer awareness program spread over all the years. I will not go into details, but it is we have done so much of programming, prepared plans of doing workshops and doing awareness programs, training programs, skills development. Then regulations on products, as I mentioned, are being worked out as to when and how we are going to implement the regulation by the government, which is going to support, develop this LED business. Then demand generation by government, of course, I have said, but it has to be, it has not to be only next 3 years, but the growth which is happening on highways and the other urban development, industrial development. Our Prime Minister has now added one more feature, is that he wants to have 100 smart cities. Mr. Jain, Dr. Jain said that we want to make 4 Indias by next few years. So all that is going to generate a lot of business. So it is not ending in 2016. It will be a continuous process, and India is going to see wonderful, opportunity which we are going to encash on. Export promotion, of course, export will be another feature which we have. So far, lighting industry in India has never looked at export because of strong Chinese products, but now we are looking at Indian products, Indian products are more sturdy. Our products are sturdier than any other product in anywhere, because we have changed the products, our standards according to Indian condition. All other standards are from cold countries. Indian products are made according to Indian condition, because India has hot weather condition, India has a lot of dust, India has humidity up to 90%, and India has voltage fluctuation. So all these 4 major things we have taken care. Our products which can withstand from 150 volts to 300 volts, whereas all products which come from out, they say one only, 220 volts, that's all. So you can imagine the kind of product that we are producing, which can be used in any corner of the world. And then Lighting Excellence Center, we are now planning to have one Lighting Excellence Center with one institution, and it is going to not only do the testing but also training and research and development for lighting products in India. So we are going to look at new opportunities of making more energy efficient products. Now, after we have been talking about this Lighting Excellence Center for last few days, we have received requests from 2 or 3 state governments to come and join and establish Lighting Excellence Center in their state. Today I met very important people from Punjab who said, we will give you land, we will give you building, and the central government is going to give 75% of subsidy on the cost of equipment. Balance 25% we will give it to you. Come and start. So that kind of encouragement we are getting once we have started encouraging people and informing them of the advantages of LED. Skills development, we said that we need people with more skills. We don't want simple graduates coming out from universities and they don't find jobs. So after graduation or after 12th class, we are going to train people to be ready to come and start working in the factories, start working in the development centers, start working in test laboratories and all that. So that kind of programs we have already made, and that has started working in India also. Then we are going to publish a newsletter giving information on whatever is happening on continuous basis to all the stakeholders. And but of course, last but not the least, we are looking at international support, because we want to be abreast with whatever is happening in the world. We want to do it same thing, or sometimes when we do something better, we have collaboration with various international countries. We are members of a lot of associations. We are members, partners with the Japan Lighting Association. We are partners with the Global Lighting Association. We are partners with the International Solid State Lighting Association. This way, we have created a contact with the entire world to exchange on the new technologies and new applications which are happening around the world. I think with that, thank you very much. And if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi. Sir, I just saw your roadmap. I was just wondering, you have presented in one of your slides said in 2020 the guidelines on mercury reduction will be less than 2 mg. And that's a plan. And one way we see, in next 1 year, 2 year, the LED is coming up. So what's the fun of using, recommending of less than 2 mg in 2020? Why not we can do it in 1 year or 2 years time?
Very frankly speaking, our aim is that we will not have CFL, but I cannot just write off the CFL today. Let us see how this LED, and we are very confident. The way the things are happening, the way the government is supporting, the way industry is developing itself, I don't think the CFL will be there for after 2 years or 3 years in India.
Sir, my question is, if we can do it in 2020 for reducing our mercury content, why can't we move in today, let's say in 2015 or 16? That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you. See, we have already reduced it to less than 5 milligrams.
Agreed, sir.
We have made amalgam, which is inserted as a pellet. So there are still small manufacturers who cannot afford that machinery or that kind of technology. So government has to initiate. There are about 48 licenses in India, out of which about 12 are large ones who can afford automation. The other ones are small ones who really need support for having that kind of machine. But at the same time, the large manufacturers have already started using less than 3 milligrams. We have kept less than 5 milligrams to support the small manufacturers. As per Minamata, we are going faster than Minamata. Minamata says less than 3 milligrams in 2020. So we already initiated as far as the large manufacturers contribute about 80% of the total demand. But balance 20% are small manufacturers, so we have to take care of that also. We don't want to kill them overnight. And let me tell you, this amalgam is very safe today because it does not evaporate, it does not spill. So it is very easy to collect it and maybe safely dispose of. The earlier lamp, which was liquid mercury, used to evaporate or it used to spill on the ground and it will immediately seep on the ground. So that kind of thing has been taken care, and the entire country is now going to amalgam of mercury and some other metals.
Thank you.
Sir, for the sake of the small manufacturers, you do not want them to be killed, and you want to kill the environment.
No, I said this environment is now, when we are using amalgam, it is not going to atmosphere, it is not evaporating, it does not even spill into the ground. It's a small piece, it's a hard material, metal, which is amalgam of mercury and some other metal, so it does not allow it to spill.
You mean to say that the large manufacturers have come down to less than 3.
Yeah.
So the remaining people, why can't they come to something 3?
I have just explained that there is a machinery required.
And the machinery means that right now basically we want to kill for the sake of this 20% volume of manufacturers. We want to sacrifice the other aspects of this product. So that is what basically, if the 80% of volumes are not affected, means that is being manufactured by large manufacturers. Why can't the other people take care of it?
I think I'll leave that question to the government to decide whether they can give machineries to them to change to pellet insertion, because pellet insertion cannot be done manually. It has to be done through a machinery which costs money.
So ultimately, we want to save this 20% volume of the quantity which is going to the market, and to save that, we want to sacrifice something else.
No, I have
Bigger.
understood your question. I replied also that yes, once they are to be taken care. I know it very sure. I am a representative of the industry. I cannot take care of those people because it needs funding for them. If the government has a program to fund them to buy that machinery, they also change. But at the moment, the situation is that sooner or later, as I said, maybe another 2 years, the CFL will not be there. And I think somebody before me said that we have to wait and have patience for a year.
Until there is some stringent conditions, these people, they will not change this thing. So long as you don't have a fine, the traffic doesn't fine, people do not come to the right way.
Okay, any other question?
Suggestion.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, sir. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, just prior to this, Dr. Mathur has said that true revolution of LED will be witnessed when it will come into the retail space, right, to the consumer segment, and with the right quality of product. So it can be only possible when the standard will become the mandatory, right? I just look at your roadmap. The standard will be mandatory somewhere in 17 or 18. So what's the challenge we see at this moment? Why can't it be earliest, let's say maybe 2015? Because at this moment, if rest of the world you see, everybody means, okay, if you want to sell a lamp in China, you have to comply the Chinese standard. Okay, it is never less than AIC standard. Okay, but why we face this challenge and why we think that it should be
Very
2017?
interesting question. In fact, I tell you, this plan was we started making about 3 months back, when we did not foresee that the government is going to move so fast. In fact, we got a surprise from Dr. Ajay Mathur yesterday, a day before yesterday, when I was talking to him, that when are you going to do this labeling program? Will it be 6 months from now or 1 year? He said, next month. So I was spellbound, I said 1 month you are going to give us a labeling program. It's an excellent thing. So if government is going to do the faster and provide all the facilities of testing, and he now announced also that we will not ask for testing of a lamp for the life test because it takes years, one year, 1.5 years. So he said, I'll only ask for 4 parameters which can be tested immediately. If that happens, then there's no problem. We can do it mandatory maybe within the next 3 months, 4 months. Why not? So if it depends on the government programs. If they don't ask for live test, then we are ready immediately.
So the rationale behind it is that we are not ready with testing facility. Is it so?
Yeah, there are two things. Now, one is testing facilities are not adequate. Secondly, to do the live test, if they make it mandatory, they will ask for a live test. Live test means minimum 6,000 hours you have to test for LED lamps as per the standard. 6,000 means it will take about 12 months to 18 months. I don't exactly remember, between 12 months to 18 months. So to pass that, which means you have to wait for that time to give the certification, which means you cannot have the mandatory in place for another 1.5 years from today. But just now, just some time back, Dr. Ajay Mathur announced that we are going to ask for 4 parameters which do not relate to the live test. He said efficacy, efficiency, color rendering, and one more parameter. So if that is so, LMAT, I think. If that is so, then I don't think we need to wait for such a long time for making it mandatory.
Yeah, actually, I take back this point. Okay, methods are available. All the key companies, big companies, they are doing in their method to estimate the life, and that can be always looked into. Okay, when it is 2017, we can make it early.
Because we were waiting, it will take, if they ask for live test, 1.5 years we have to wait. Okay. I think can we,
I have a small question.
I have jumped my time here, I am requesting that we can discuss it later outside.
Yeah, only one question, sir. My name is Tarajan. I am representing Anchor Panasonic Group. My simple question is, when we converted from incandescent lamp to CFL, we were hearing that, okay, incandescent lamp will be out. But still there is a consumption of incandescent lamp in India. So it is increasing. So what I need, my question is, what is our plan to phase out the incandescent lamp? By which year we should phase out so that we can create more demand for LED lamp? And what is the plan for phase out of CFL so that a firm plan will be implemented for LED?
See, in 2002, there were 1.3 billion sockets in India, okay? And we were selling about 1 billion, 1.2 billion incandescent lamp, if I remember the figure. Over a period of time, when we launched CFL, immediately the incandescent lamp came down to 800 million. 700 to 800 million. It is continuously, ever since we launched CFL, it has not grown. It has been stagnant, 1%, 2% plus minus is happening. So, but the sockets have gone to 2 billion now. And 2020 it will be 2.3 billion as per our estimate. So you can imagine how many CFL have gone into those sockets. You should appreciate that. Now why this 700-800 are still unused or incandescent is because of the poor people who cannot afford. If you go to the villages, if you tell them to buy a CFL, can't afford because his daily wage is 20 rupees or 50 rupees. And how can he afford? So we had, and that's another interesting thing is the industry has not increased the price because it is a poor man's lamp. We want to keep it affordable till the government can afford to change all the sockets and give something to change them to LED or something else. Okay, thank you very much.